How to use an airbrush. Marble allowed Michelangelo to create his David. An airbrush will allow you to draw a dragon on a conversion van. You will need a double-action airbrush set including hoses, jars, and bowls, a compressor or compressed air tank, a well-ventilated space, ink or acrylic paints, a rag, a hot press board, a pencil, an artist's eraser, a craft knife, an easel or drafting table, a frisket or copy paper, artist tape, scrap paper, fixative, a small bucket, and some water. Optional, an air filtering mask. Step 1. Lightly sketch out your painting on the hot press board. Step 2. Erase any extra lines and go over the ones you need to reduce them as much as possible. Step 3. Mix some paint with water in the airbrush bowl or jar. Practice this to find the right consistencies for the effects you're after. In some cases, you won't need any water at all. Step 4. Try out your airbrush for a while on scrap paper to get used to the lever and button. Use a double-action airbrush, which allows you to control air and paint volume independently. Step 5. Practice washing out the airbrush by immersing it into the bucket far enough for the brush to cycle water through the paint bowl. Step 6. Then practice blowing the water out of the airbrush against your scrap paper or the rag until the airbrush is clean and dry. Step 7. Once you're done practicing, it's time to mix the first color you'll use on your painting. Generally, you'll want to work from the lightest colors to the darkest. Step 8. Start painting general areas. Step 9. Use the craft knife to shape the frisket or copy paper and mask off areas from the airbrush. Step 10. When you're done with an area, move to the next. Step 11. When you're done with the actual painting, use a fixative to seal the painting in place. Step 12. Thoroughly wash out the airbrush when you're finished, particularly if you're using a paint that dries hard like some acrylics or enamel paints. Step 13. Disassemble the airbrush to make sure you've fully cleaned it. Be very careful with the airbrush needle, which is very delicate and easily breakable. Step 14. Admire your creation. Like Marcel Duchamp wrote, "Can one make works which are not of art?" Did you know the first airbrush was invented in 1879?